Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's Cool World, brought to us by Ocean. Cool World is based on the 1992 film of the same name, starring Kim Basinger and Brad Pitt. This is just one of the many different versions of Cool World that was released after the film was. So here we go with Cool World on the NES. Now, Cool World follows the movie very loosely, and some of the things are changed from the plot. But basically you play as Brad Pitt's character, Detective Frank Harris, and you're trying to stop the villain of the movie, Hollywood, played by Kim Basinger, who wants to leave her world, Cool World, a cartoon-based world, and come into our world, the real world. The final item that she needs to complete her goal is the Power Spike, which is located on a Las Vegas casino in the real world, which was put there by another Toon who crossed over. There are 4 levels in Cool World to start off with. You can play them in any order, and once you've completed those 4, you move on to the 5th and final level, which is the Las Vegas Casino. The game plays like your typical side-scrolling platformer, with a few unique things, including some item collecting that we're going to be needing in order to defeat each boss. Every level has a unique item. In this case, the first level of the game, The Streets, has bombs. We need to collect a certain amount of bombs in order to defeat the boss of this stage. In terms of normal enemies, though, you have your pen, as well as an eraser that you can throw at different enemies. You can use your pen like a sword to stab enemies, and it'll defeat them. After you defeat a certain amount of enemies, though, your pen will fill up with ink, and you have to find one of these different glass ink wells in order to release the ink from your pen in order to use it again. Going through the levels, just from start to finish, you may not be able to find all the amount of items you need to defeat each boss. If you lose a life during the boss battle, you get a certain amount of the item back, so that you can attack the boss some more after you lose a life during that boss battle. Now, going up this ladder will lead you to the first of the bonus rooms in the game. Every level contains at least one of these bonus rooms. Inside each of them are some health items, as well as some supplies, but the big thing is it contains 3 or 4 of the special item for that level. Now right here is the first tricky part. You have to use a bomb, which you tap the B button in order to throw a bomb at this trash can. It opens up, you can push it over to get the guards to separate from the door so you can get into the bar. Once in the bar, watch out for the bartender throwing glasses at you. Then move along the back wall by jumping around. Watch out for the wall. When it lights up, you'll get hurt by the wall. You want to make it over so that you can get into the sewer area. The sewer is a little bit of a maze, so it's going to take a little bit to get through it. I'm going to be going to the right first, but in the end, to get to the boss, we're going to have to go left. I'm going to the right first in order to enter a room so I can pick up some more bombs that I'm going to be needing in order to defeat the boss at the end of the level. We're going to need 10 bombs in order to defeat the boss, and we're going to have to use 1 in order to open up a pathway to get to the boss. So overall, you're going to be using 12 total. The other one we used on that trash can early on in the level. Now that I grabbed a couple extra bombs, I'm now going to head to the left, and we're going to start heading towards the boss. Thankfully, though, there is a couple more bombs on our way, so that we'll make sure that we have enough in order to defeat that boss. Like I said before, you can use your pen or use erasers to defeat enemies. If you use erasers on the enemies, they will turn into candy canes, which is our health item in the game. So anytime you kill an enemy with an eraser, he turns into a candy cane so you can get some health back, a good way to replenish your health if you do get low. For the most part, though, I'm usually not going to be even attacking enemies. It's better just to jump over them to avoid them altogether than to actually attack them. Most of them move very slow. The hardest parts, and the parts that you're probably going to lose some health on, may just be the platforming, in case you fall into different areas, or you miss platforms or miss timed jumps over pits. In the game, besides the blocks that are against the wall, there is some secret hidden blocks that we're going to have to use in order to get over certain platforms. As you saw, I hit one right there. Continue watching out for the enemies, making it over the large jumps. Watch out for the dripping pipes. And when you reach the end of this area, we're going to have to use a bomb in order to open up this grate right here. So throw the bomb, it opens up the tube, and we can go through to the next part of the maze. As you can see, thankfully, each part of the maze is usually a different color, so it helps you to identify where you've been and which areas you haven't been to yet. Thankfully, though, the maze in this level isn't nearly as bad as some other games that have mazes on the NES. This part, when jumping from drum to drum, is probably one of the harder platforming areas because there's so much depth to the level. Like, you can come to the foreground and go to the background, which you have to do in order to make it on the most of the platforms in the game. Because of that, it's sometimes hard to judge exactly when you should jump from each drum. But if you do land in the water, you'll start to be swept away, and you can jump out of it though. Coming all the way over here, I grabbed the last bomb I'm going to need from this room, and now I can head to the next room. These enemies can be quite annoying because when they drop down, they will push you towards the water. So usually if they're going to start hitting you, jump so that you can try to get over them so they don't push you too far. Once again, try to time your jumps as best as can when you can see that the drums are about to line up with one another so that you end up landing on the drum and not falling in the water. Like I said though, when you do fall in the water, if you miss a jump, you can immediately jump out of the water and try to get to a nearby platform. After that very long series of drum jumping is finally completed, moving past this guy right here, just to the far right, find a hidden block in order to move your way up to grab the last bomb that we need, and now it's time to enter the boss room, which is located right here. Our first boss of the game is Slash, this big blue guy who throws dice at you. Every 4 hops is when he'll throw another dice at you, so you can time it a little bit better. You want to throw an arcing stink bomb at him, then back up a little bit so that you can time your next shot. I usually like to go into the far corners. Once he gets close, then walk all the way to the opposite side, and then start throwing your bombs at him again, and slowly back away until you're cornered again, and if you need to, then run up into the next corner and continue on. After you hit him with 10 stink bombs, he'll be defeated, and we can move on to the next level. If you do run out of bombs, you can lose a life, and you'll come back with 1 extra bomb so that you can try to attack him with that, and keep losing your lives as much as you need in order to finally defeat him. Okay, for the second level of the game, I'm going to Sweet Place Town. Like I said before, you can play the 4 levels in any order you like. In this level, we have to collect cakes instead of bombs in order to defeat the boss at the end of the level. Be sure to try to avoid any of the driving vehicles in any of these levels as much as possible, because some of them will instantly kill you and most will just drain your health very quickly. To start off the level, we're going to climb along these power lines in order to grab an extra eraser and the pen item. Like I said though, I'll be dodging most of the enemies, but I want to at least show you guys where it's located in this level. Watch out for the little bits of electricity that are running through the power line. Of course, if they hit you, you'll end up losing some health. As I just grab an extra eraser, like I said before, you can use the erasers on certain enemies to defeat them, in which case you'll get a little bit of extra health. In this level, we're pretty much just going to be going from left to right. It's less confusing than the first level, much more straightforward. This is probably the easiest and shortest level in the game, so you may want to do this one first when you're playing the game for the first time. Now I just grabbed that police badge right there, which made me invincible for a few seconds. I was flashing, in which case I could walk through any enemy that got near me during that time. As you can see, there's another one of the cakes on the power line, so we're going to have to jump on this fence here, which we can then jump onto the power pole itself, walk to the left, watch out for the electricity running through, grab the cake,